There's plenty of advice out there, and there's a lot of good in it. But as a believer, there is some common advice out there that is not biblical, and you should not follow. Stick around to the end for it all. Hey there, I'm Rob Lee. Welcome to my channel. If you're already subscribed, welcome to another video. Before we get started, smash the like button for me and consider subscribing if you haven't already. The first piece of advice out there that you want to avoid doing as a Christian: living with your partner before getting married. I know why people advise this. I've heard it plenty of times, or people say that you never really truly know, or you never truly know someone until you are living with them. Sometimes what you see on a date or sometimes what you hear on the phone is not truly who the person is. But living together before getting married, although I understand why people say to do it and the possible benefits of doing it, there can be a lot of destruction that takes place in doing this. There are plenty of other things that we are not supposed to partake in as believers. There are plenty of other things that we want to keep ourselves from doing, so that way we are in alignment with where we need to be with Christ. So in doing something that seems logical as just moving in with your partner before making that commitment of marriage and living the lifestyle of a married couple and calling yourselves husband and wife, but not really having made the covenant between you guys and God, you find yourselves in very tough positions and tough situations. Because what happens is, without the marriage there is no covenant. There is no outward covenant that you guys have agreed to make with Christ and to make with God, so he can ordain and bless that marriage going forth in the years. So you start to realize that, yes, people say, well, let's move in together and see how things are. And then once you hit the trial and you hit the tribulations and the difficulty time comes, we are easy to leave and we say, well, at least I tried it out before I got married. But if you continue to do that, you're going to end up on this never-ending cycle of just trying out and trying before you buy, like Amazon try before you buy program. You're going to end up just trying and trying and trying things out until you find the perfect situation. But there really is no perfect situation. You just want to go into the situation that is perfect for you, that God has called you to be in. So that's the important thing you want to do. Don't fear that just because I'm jumping into a situation and I don't have much knowledge about the person. If you believe that this is something that God has called you guys to, seek first his kingdom and get that answer and get that guidance from him, and he will definitely direct you in the right path. The second thing that I want to bring up is the common advice: being a sinner will send you to hell. Now, this isn't all the way true. This is scarce teaching that I would say people use to put fear into people, so that way they're feared into trusting, or they're feared into behaving or operating a certain way. But with loving kindness does he draw us. So I don't want to use any fear because we don't operate in fear. And since the sacrifice that was made on the cross by Jesus, since that sacrifice was there, he became sin to get rid of it. So there is no more sin. And since that sacrifice was made there, I have to believe and trust in that. And I can't live my life in fear, thinking that because I'm sinning, or if I sin, I'm going to go to hell. Now, there is knowledge that we do have to have, where if we do have the knowledge to not do something, we are not to do it. We are not to go off and do things that we have an understanding, or we have been taught, or we just have the knowledge that we should not partake of. Because if we do that, then yes, we are in what we call premeditated sin, and you do not want to be in premeditated sin. But there are going to be some times where you stumble and fall. There are going to be some times where you are going through something and things aren't really working out the way that you want them to, causing you to become or behave a different certain type of way. And that's where I want to tell you, no condemnation lies in you in that situation. So do not condemn yourself. Do not let others condemn you. Continue to push forward in faith by Jesus Christ that you are going to come out of any of your situations, no matter what it be, no matter what temptation, trial, or whatever the case may be. You are definitely going to come out of it, because this too shall pass. Now, on the other hand, not accepting and believing on that fact that I just stated, that Jesus Christ became flesh and went on the cross and was sacrificed so that way sin could be done with and we can get rid of it. Now, not accepting that he did that and not accepting that sacrifice is what can put you in a position, in a place where you have to start questioning, yes, am I going to go to hell? Because without acknowledging the Son, there's no way that you can acknowledge the Father. So that's where I would say the big point is. But what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, you know, sure, there's always things that we can do. This is not like a push or a green light to just go off and just start doing whatever because sin was rid of on the cross. No, but rather just an understanding to not condemn yourself for the troubles that you may be dealing with, condemning yourself for the things that you might be going through or the things that you might still be working on with yourself, because we are all works in progress. Last but most certainly not least, this is something that I hear all over the place. Get it all out of your system now. This also is one of those things where I definitely understand what people are saying and what they mean and why they give that kind of advice. But like I'm saying, there is a lot of advice out there in the world that I'm seeing that people are getting, and they have to make sure, and I want us to make sure that if we are believers, we're matching that advice up to see that if it is advice that we can take, because we have to make sure that it aligns with what the Bible instructs of us as believers. So people say, get it all out of your system now. I know this is a tactic that people say, if you get everything out now, you're going to be good later. So then you can get married and you can settle down, or you can be committed to one person, because why? You spent X amount of time really getting it out of your system. And while I understand the logic and the reasoning behind that, I can't find it to be biblical advice. Everything that you may be looking for out in the world, everything that you may be getting out in the world, you're able to get that right here at home with one person, if you so find it, and if you're blessed to have that, without the worry or the scarcity of HIV, AIDS, I don't know, messing with the wrong person and getting shot. I don't know, you know, crazier things have happened, but I feel that we have definitely forgotten that over time, the sacredness behind marriage and the importance behind it. There's absolutely nothing that you can get out of your system, because temptation and trials, let me tell you this, they do not go away just because you're married. If anything, the enemy may attack even harder. So if you say get it all out of your system, that's essentially a myth, because it's not necessarily anything you can get out of your system. If you have a taste for it, until you've given it to God, it's going to be there, and the enemy's always going to use that as a tool or as a trap to try to get you to come back to where he had you long time ago. We as individuals, as believers, we have to work on renewing our mind every single day and change those ways. We have to give that to God. We have to make that decision to make ourselves ready for our spouse, to make ourselves ready for anything else in the world. If you're not looking for a spouse, whatever the case may be, but to make yourself ready for anything in the world, we have to put ourselves in a position where we constantly are renewing our minds day in and day out, and staying and keeping it according and aligned with the word of God. Thank you guys once again tuning into this one. I appreciate all the support you guys have been doing here on this channel. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of my videos. I'm gonna have those posted up on the next screen for you guys. Until the next video, I pray for you and you pray for me.